Jane Murray loved the sun. From the moment she could walk, she was drawn to its warmth and light. The sun was her constant companion, her source of joy and energy. She lived for those warm summer days, soaking up the rays whenever she could. Whether it was a quick sunbath in her backyard or a full day at the beach, Jane made sure to get her daily dose of sunshine. The beach was her happy place. The sound of the waves, the feel of the sand between her toes, and the sun kissing her skin made her feel alive and free. She never worried about sunscreen. To her, it seemed like an unnecessary barrier between her and the sun she adored so much. Tan lines were practically a fashion statement in her mind. They were proof of her love affair with the sun, badges of honor she wore proudly. Jane had always had a few moles. They were small, unassuming, and just another part of her skin's landscape. They were just a part of her. She never gave them much thought, considering them as natural as freckles or birthmarks. She never really thought about them much. Her focus was always on enjoying life, not worrying about what might go wrong. One day, she noticed a new one on her arm. It was a small, light brown spot that seemed to appear out of nowhere. It was small and light brown, nothing alarming. Jane shrugged it off, thinking it was just another harmless addition to her skin. Life went on, and the mole faded into the background of her busy life. Years passed, seasons changed. Jane continued to bask in the sun, her constant source of happiness. The mole on Jane's arm remained. It didn't hurt. It didn't itch. It just existed. It was a silent, unchanging part of her. Jane barely noticed it anymore. Her days were filled with work, family, and the simple pleasures of life. The mole was the last thing on her mind. She was too busy living her life, enjoying the sun, and taking care of her family. The sun continued to be her faithful companion, and she cherished every moment under its warm embrace. Little did she know, her sun-loving habits were quietly writing a different story on her skin, one that would soon demand her attention. 4 years went by. The mole remained a silent passenger on Jane's journey. It wasn't until her friend Sarah pointed it out that Jane even thought about it again. "Have you had that checked?" Sarah asked one day, her brow furrowed with concern. Jane brushed it off. "It's nothing," she said, "just a mole." Sarah, however, wasn't convinced. She had seen a documentary about skin cancer and knew the warning signs. She urged Jane to see a dermatologist, just to be safe. Reluctantly, Jane agreed. She figured it would be a quick visit, a confirmation that everything was fine. She scheduled an appointment, not realizing that this decision would change her life forever. The dermatologist's office was bright and welcoming. Jane felt a flicker of anxiety as she sat in the waiting room. When it was her turn, the doctor examined the mole carefully. He asked Jane how long she'd had it and if she'd noticed any changes. Jane answered honestly, explaining that it had been there for years and hadn't seemed unusual. The doctor, however, didn't look reassured. He recommended a biopsy, just to be safe. A wave of unease washed over Jane, but she agreed to the procedure. The biopsy itself was quick. Jane went home, expecting to hear that everything was fine. She never imagined the news that awaited her. The call came a few days later. The mole, the one she had ignored for years, was malignant melanoma. Malignant melanoma. The words echoed in Jane's ears. It was the deadliest form of skin cancer. Her mind raced with questions. How could this be happening? It was just a mole. It hadn't even looked that bad. The doctor explained that melanoma could be deceptive. It didn't always look alarming in its early stages. He assured Jane that they had caught it early, but further testing was needed to determine the stage. The waiting was excruciating. Every moment felt like an eternity. Finally, the results came back. Jane had stage 2 melanoma. The cancer had spread beyond the initial site but hadn't yet reached her lymph nodes. It was a blow, but there was still hope. The doctor recommended immediate surgery to remove the tumor and prevent further spread. Section 5. Facing the scalpel. Surgery and complications. Surgery is often a daunting prospect, filled with uncertainty and fear. For many, it represents a critical juncture in their battle against illness. The surgery was scheduled for the following week. The days leading up to it were filled with a whirlwind of emotions and preparations. Jane felt a mix of fear and determination. The thought of going under the knife was terrifying, yet she knew it was a necessary step in her journey to recovery. She knew she had to fight this. Every glance in the mirror reminded her of the strength she needed to muster. The surgery itself was long and complex. The operating room buzzed with activity as the medical team worked meticulously. The doctors had to remove a large area of skin around the mole to ensure that all the cancerous cells were gone. Precision was key, and every cut was made with utmost care. When Jane woke up, she was groggy and in pain. The anesthesia was wearing off, and the reality of the surgery began to set in. The surgery had been more complicated than expected. The doctors had encountered unforeseen challenges that required quick thinking and adaptability. The tumor had been larger than initially thought, and the doctors had to remove more tissue than planned. This added complexity to an already delicate procedure. Jane had a long, jagged scar running down her arm, held together by 77 stitches. Each stitch was a testament to the meticulous work of the surgeons. It was a stark reminder of the battle she was facing. The scar was not just a physical mark, but a symbol of her resilience and courage. The recovery was painful and slow. Every movement was a challenge, and the days seemed to stretch endlessly. Jane's arm was stiff and sore, the muscles ached, and the skin felt tight around the stitches. She couldn't lift anything heavy or even sleep comfortably. Simple tasks became monumental challenges, and rest was elusive. But through it all, she never gave up hope. Jane's spirit remained unbroken, and she found strength in the small victories each day brought. Her journey was far from over, but she faced it with unwavering determination and a heart full of hope. Section 6. The Long Road to Recovery. Weeks turned into months, and months turned into seasons. The passage of time was both a friend and a foe, marking the slow but steady progress of Jane's recovery. Jane diligently followed her doctor's instructions, meticulously noting down every detail. She knew that her recovery depended on her commitment to the regimen prescribed by her healthcare team. She went for regular checkups, endured countless blood tests, and faced each appointment with a mixture of hope and anxiety. The sterile smell of the clinic became all too familiar, yet it was a place of reassurance. Slowly, she began to regain her strength. Light exercises became a part of her daily routine, and walks in the park were not just physical therapy, but a mental escape. Each step forward was a victory, no matter how small. The scar on her arm faded over time, but it remained a constant reminder of her battle with cancer. It was a symbol of her resilience and the journey she had endured. Every glance at the scar brought back memories of the pain and fear, but also of the strength and courage she had found within herself. The fear of recurrence lingered, a shadow that loomed over her daily life. It was an ever-present worry that she had to learn to live with. This shadow followed her everywhere, a silent companion that she could never quite shake off. But Jane was determined not to let it define her. Jane refused to let the fear consume her. She embraced practices like meditation and yoga to center herself and find peace amidst the uncertainty. She focused on the positives. She was alive. She was cancer-free. Each sunrise was a gift, and every hug from her family was a reminder of what she had fought for. Determined to make her experience count, Jane began to share her journey with others. She spoke at support groups, offering hope and encouragement to those still in the midst of their battles. Jane became an advocate for skin cancer awareness. She participated in community events, spreading the message about the importance of early detection and prevention. She shared her story with anyone who would listen, from friends to strangers, urging them to protect their skin and get regular checkups. Her words carried the weight of personal experience and genuine concern. Jane volunteered at health fairs, handing out flyers and talking to people about the risks of skin cancer. Her passion for the cause was evident in every conversation. She also spent time at hospitals, offering support to other cancer patients. Her presence was a source of comfort, a testament to the possibility of recovery. Jane's journey, though fraught with challenges, had given her a new purpose. She found joy in simple activities like hiking and working on projects at home, appreciating the normalcy she had once taken for granted. Her determination and positive outlook became her guiding lights. Jane's story was one of resilience, hope, and the unwavering human spirit. She had turned her struggle into a mission to help others, and in doing so, she found her own path to healing. Section 7. Lessons Learned, Jane's Advocacy. Jane's message was simple but powerful. Listen to your body, she would say. If you see something unusual, don't ignore it. Get it checked out. Early detection saved my life. She stressed the importance of regular mole checks, both at home and with a dermatologist. Jane also became a vocal advocate for sun safety. Gone were the days of carefree sunbathing. She now wore sunscreen religiously, even on cloudy days. She invested in wide-brimmed hats and UV protective clothing. Jane's transformation was complete. She was no longer the sun worshiper she once was, but a beacon of hope and awareness. Section 8. The importance of sun safety. Jane's story is a powerful reminder of the importance of sun safety. Skin cancer is the most common cancer in the United States, and melanoma is the deadliest form. The good news is that skin cancer is also highly preventable. By taking simple steps to protect your skin from the sun's harmful UV rays, you can significantly reduce your risk of developing this disease. Wear sunscreen with an SPF of 30 or higher every day, even on cloudy days. Seek shade during peak sun hours. Wear protective clothing such as wide-brimmed hats and sunglasses. Section 9. Melanoma, a global threat. Melanoma is a global health concern. Rates of this deadly disease have been rising steadily over the past few decades. While it is more common in fair-skinned individuals, melanoma can affect people of all skin tones. Early detection is crucial for successful treatment. Jane's story is a testament to the importance of awareness, early detection, and the power of the human spirit. By sharing her journey, she hopes to inspire others to take charge of their health and protect themselves from the sun's harmful rays. Remember, a tan might fade, but the consequences of sun damage